Assalamualaikum and good days to everyone. My name is Muhammad Arif Haikal bin Muhammad Arifin and my matrix number is 01DEE22F1054. Today we want to talk about trigonometry function in criminology. But before we getting into the topic, we need to learn a basic rule of trigonometry. The name of the trigonometry is come from two Greek words, which is trigonon means triangle and metron means measure. Trigonometry helps us find angles and distance and is used a lot in science, engineering, video games and more. The triangle of most interest is the right angle triangle. The right angle is shown by the little box in the corner. Another angle is often labeled as theta, and three sides are then called adjacent, opposite and hypotenuse. Adjacent is next to the angle, opposite is the opposite of the angle, and the longest side is called hypotenuse. The main function in trigonometry are sine, cosine and tangent. They are simply one side of a right angle triangle divided by another. For any angle, sin theta equal to opposite divided by hypotenuse, cos theta equal to adjacent divided by hypotenuse, and tan theta equal to opposite divided by adjacent. Sine, cosine and tangent are often abbreviated to sin, cos and tan. As you can see, this is one of the example of the question. What we need to find here is sine of 35 degree. By using the sinus formula, sin theta equal to opposite by hypotenuse. So sin 35 equal to opposite 2.8 divided by hypotenuse 4.9 equal to 0.57. The triangle could be larger, smaller or turn around, but the angle will always have that ratio. Similar to sine, cosine and tangent, there are three other trigonometric functions which are made by dividing one side by another. Cosecant function, theta equal to hypotenuse divided by opposite. Second function, theta equal to hypotenuse divided by adjacent. Cotangent function, theta equal to adjacent divided by opposite. As you get better at trigonometry, you can learn the trigonometric identities and triangle identities. The trigonometric identities are equations that are true for all right angle triangle. The triangle identities are equations that are true for all triangles. They don't have to have a right angle.
Hi guys, my name is Rutravindra, son of Kannan, and my matrix number is 01DEE22F1031. So the next things is we're gonna talk about introduction of trigonometry in criminology. The world is so creative that it involves the application of mathematical concepts. It has even become helpful in solving crime scenes and creating deduction. In the abstract of the article, the use of trigonometry in blood spatter. The author mentioned that trigonometry holds a special place in the hearts of blood analysis because the work how to utilize the unknown identities and trigonometric function to unfold who is present in a crime scene, such as the angle of impact of a blood stains, the angle from where a person is struck, and angle from where the blood fell. Additionally, it can be used in the eye of person via the angle of impact. This is called BPA or blood pattern analysis. We will only discuss a few concepts: angle of impact, area of convergence, and point of origin. To know the angle of impact from where the blood came from, it is important to know the length and the width of blood stain through the formula arc sine. Width over length equal to theta. Meanwhile, blood stains do not exist as a single droplet in a crime scene, but as many small droplets. If one is to draw lines from at least two blood stains through its major axis, the intersection is known as the area of convergence. Similarly, the point where multiple blood stains seem to intersect is called the point of convergence. Compared to the two-dimensional area of convergence, the point of origin is a three-dimensional space from which blood came from. To be able to get this, the distance between a blood stain and the area of convergence will be measured labeled as D, and the formula of P equals to D times A. Then A will be used wherein P is the point of origin. For example, a woman was murdered in her house, and there were splatters of blood in the wall. When examined, one blood stain measures 0.75 width and 1 length. Using the mentioned formula, you can solve for the angle of impact. After solving, you should arrive at the theta is equal to 85 degrees. Here we have an example of blood spatter by connecting pairs of blood droplets with lines. We are able to create an area of convergence and by using some formula. Next, we can solve the distance of dimension blood stain from the area of convergence, which is 30 cm. This we can solve for the point of origin by substituting the values we solved earlier. The distance of the mentioned blood stain from the area of convergence being 30, angle of impact being 85 degrees, with the formula P is equal to tan D is multiplied to tan A to get T is equal to 5.37 cm. Here we can see the trigonometry concept we use in SU angle of impact of a blood stain inverse function architect tangent. On the other hand, this was used to get the point of origin together with the distance from the area of the breach. Some people fail to recognize the importance of mathematical concepts and formulas, but they are very important in solving real-life problems. So remember to take down notes and not fall off into the next math class, as the formulas you are memorizing actually have been used.
My name is Zaid Mizabri. My metric number is 01DE22F1052. Right now, I want to talk about how can trigonometry help in criminology. Trigonometry can help calculate a projectile's route to calculate what may have caused a collision in a car accident, how an object fell from somewhere, what angle a bullet was shot from, or how a blood splatter can find a criminal. How is a crime scene analyzed through steps? The first step, when investigators approach a crime scene, they don't just barge in and combine whatever evidence they see. Their first step when analyzing a crime scene is scene recognizing what occurred. This stage aims to understand what the investigation will be about and how to proceed with an approach of finding and collecting data. This approach will include debating if trigonometry will be used. Solving a crime scene using math is like a real-life word problem. Second step. The second step is that you must ask a lot of questions to see what must be done. Will sohkah toa be used to measure the angle or side of something else? The third step is to write everything you see the crime scene down before gathering any evidence. This includes taking notes like you would when solving a simple trigonometric function such as a equal to 18. From there you can put trigonometric equations into play. Investigators can use simple shapes like triangles and squares to reconstruct how a crime scene happened. A situation that can be used as a good example for a crime scene investigation is when investigators jot down impact marking on the ground where the victim had been attacked or killed in a situation that they fell off a building. A crime is solved and two-word problems. What additional steps are taken? Using the height of the building and how far away it is from the fallen victim, investigators can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the hypotenuse of the missing part of a triangle that is now being used to find the triangle distance. Then, investigators will also use the law of sine and cosinus to find what angle the victim had fallen from the building. Doing this can determine whether the victim's fall was a suicide attempt or a murder. This means that they used triangles to figure out how the blood was laid out. They do this by using measurements of the blood stain as the sides of a right triangle. The length of the blood stains is the triangle's hypotenuse, where the opposite side of the angle is what the investigators is trying to achieve. The first step in figuring this out is that the investigator has to sight each splatter of blood and measure the length and width with a measuring tool, which is highly accurate. Then, once the splatters are measured, investigators would gather notes and create a formula. Stains tell us where a crime is committed. Bloodstains provide a lot of clues about what happened on the crime scene. Bloodstain patterns analysis (BPA) is the interpretation of bloodstains at a crime scene to recreate the action that caused bloodstains. Elements of biology, physics, and mathematics are used to help determine the source of blood and the position of the victim and perpetrator. We will be looking at impact stains and passive stains. Impact stains result from blood projected through the air, whereas passive stains result from the effect of gravity on a body. This can result from stabbings, beatings, and gunshot injuries. When blood droplets strike a surface, the shape of the bloodstains depends on the angle of impact and the distance traveled. Distance. The shape and tail of the bloodstain indicates the direction the blood was traveling in. Imagine there are three bloodstains on the floor, as shown in the diagram below. Also imagine all the stains came from the same source, someone being hit over the head. Now, imagine drawing lines through the bloodstains in accordance with their direction of travel. These lines will meet at a point P, the true source of the blood. The head of the person who was hit will have been somewhere vertically above P. To find out at exactly what height, we need to do a little more geometry. Incidence. If blood were to drop vertically down onto a smooth surface so that the trajectory of the blood make a 90-degree angle with the surface, it would create a circular shaped drop. If blood were to drop obliquely to the floor at an angle less than about 70 degrees, it will form an elliptical shape with a tail. Shape of bloodstain from different angles of evidence shown at diagram 1.1. Investigators can measure the length A and width B of the bloodstains. Diagram 2 shows that measuring width and length of the bloodstains. Then calculate the angle at which the blood drop hit the surface, which is called the angle of incidence, with the help of a right angle triangle using this diagram. Here a blood droplet travels toward the surface with the angle of incidence equal to theta. The diameter of the droplet before impact is assumed to be equal to the width b of the droplet. This may not be exactly true in reality but provides a good approximation. By moving this diameter as shown, we can form a right angle triangle. The width b is opposite the angle theta in this triangle and the length a is the hypotenuse. We therefore have sin theta equal b over a. Since we know a and b from measuring the bloodstain, we can work out theta as theta equals sin negative 1 b over a. the vertical line is given by h over d equal tan theta. So h equal d tan theta. Since we know the value of theta and the distance d, see the first figure above, we can work out h, the height of the source. If you already know, for example, the blood comes from a victim being hit over the head, this information can indicate whether the person was standing up while this happened or was beaten while already lying on the floor. The outputs produced with blood pattern analysis can be used to corroborate witness statements and laboratory findings. It is surprising that something as basic as trigonometry can tell us a lot about what happened at the crime scene.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Koyum bin Rosdi. My matrix number is 01DEE22F1050. In here, I want to explain about example of trigonometry in crime scene. The police find a blood drop 5 feet away from the source of the blood. They determine that the blood impact at a 50-degree angle. The crime scene analysis must determine the height at which the blood originated. To this, the crime scene analyst must use the tan function to find the height at which the blood originated. This is a visual aid in seeing the correlation between the angle and the blood splatters. Tan A equal to opposite over adjacent. This shows how the tan function works. Tan 50 equal to h over 5. This convert to tan 50 multiply 5 equal to h. h equal to 5.95 feet. This is the mathematical process the crime scene analysts work through. Also, the height of the origin of the blood was about 5.95 feet. Conclusion: overall, trigonometry is an extremely important subject that every student should at least have the opportunity to learn. Trigonometry should not be cut as a course. It should still be offered to students for many reasons. It is extremely beneficial to know especially while in higher level math or even science classes. Trigonometry can even help in many career fields, including crime scene analysis.